My name is Brianna Desidere, and this is my lesson plan on literary elements. My grade that this lesson plan will be for is first grade, and my teacher objective is the teacher will describe characters, settings, and major events in a story using key details. For a review, we are going to review how to retell and identify the central message of the story using the Read Aloud book on the smartboard, and our book that we're going to be using is Neighborhood Cleanup, and it's off of the PBS Kids website.
Hi neighbor, it's me, Daniel Tiger. Katerina and I are going to the playground today. Trolley, please take us to the playground. Oh no, the playground is a big mess. King Friday asks the neighbors to work together to help clean up the playground. Let's start cleaning. Oh, the owl tells me about recycling. That's turning something old, like trash, into something new. Let's make believe we're turning something old into something new. Cleaning up is fun when we all work together. Now that we're finished, the playground looks terrific. And we can all play again. I'm glad you were here with me and my neighbors to help with the cleanup. It's such a good feeling when we all work together. Maga maga.
So the questions I would ask for my review would be, who can retell the story in their own words? Since last week we learned how to retell stories, they should be able to retell what happened in the Read Aloud story in their own words. The second question would be, what was the key detail as to why they couldn't play on the playground? And that would be because the playground is messy. And my third question is, can anyone tell me what is the lesson we learned from the story? So the lesson would be to always pick up your trash, to recycle, so that everyone can enjoy the things that are there for us to enjoy. The purpose or importance of this lesson is to prepare students to master reading and comprehension of literary works to create lifelong readers. Last week we would have learned how to demonstrate understanding of the lesson learned in a story. Today we will describe literary elements of a story using key details. Tomorrow we will continue to learn about literary elements of stories and focus on each individual element. The objective for the learner would be the learner will be able to describe characters, settings, and major events in the story using key details. The learner will also be able to describe literary elements of a story using key details with 85% accuracy, which is remembering, because they have to remember the key details of the story to be able to describe the elements of it. For our motivation this week, we are going to be reading the book 10 Flying Brooms by Ilanit Oliver. I'm not real sure how to pronounce this name, but that's what I'm going to go with. And so I chose this book because today is October 1st and we're getting in the Halloween spirit. So I figured this would be a great book to start off with. 10 Flying Brooms. 10 flying brooms zoomed swiftly through the night. The witches were gone. They were nowhere in sight. The brooms began their hunt at the spooky old house. I heard a witch's cackle, squeaked a tiny, timid mouse. Then down below they saw a glow coming from under the porch. Cried Witchy Woo, Broom 1, yoo-hoo, waving her hand like a torch. Broom 1 and Witchy Woo made a pair. 9 brooms flew along through the air. Is that Storm there? Witchy Woo cried from below. I think that's her red hat on that big giant crow. Up in the sky the crowd did fly, with Storm riding on top. Broom 2 flew high, poked crow, oh my, and Storm fell down, kerplop. Broom 2 and Storm made a pair. 8 brooms flew along through the air. Bree was in a rush, Storm said. She was running up the stairs, chasing something fast and small with lots of yellow hairs. Broom 3 went up and spied a pup that Bree was snuggling tightly. Can he come too? Asked Bree to Woo. Of course, Woo said politely. Broom 3 and Bree made a pair. 7 brooms flew along through the air. Bree told the broom she saw Batty Sue heading for the shed. She was looking for her bat who needed to be fed. Inside the shed, upon her head, was a bat. Oh me, oh my! Broom 4, hello, time to go! And they flew off in the sky. Broom 4 and Batty Sue made a pair. 6 brooms flew along through the air. But where's Broomhilda? Batty Sue asked. Weeding with her spiders? Let's look for her out back. But beware, these spiders are great hires. Broom 5, I'm here, Broomhilda cheered. From deep inside the forest, zip and zoom went her broom, followed by the witchy chorus. Broom 5 and Broomhilda made a pair. 5 brooms flew along through the air. Time was running out when they flew over a lake where Miss Trix was swimming. There was no mistake. I'm here, Broom 6, cried wet Miss Trix, and they flew to the water. We can't be late. We need Miss Tate and Tabby. Can you spot her? Broom 6 and Miss Trix made a pair. 4 brooms flew along through the air. A hooting sound came from above. It was Tabby's owl. Tabby was scared, the owl said. She heard a noisy growl. Broom 7, look! The branches shook. They all flew over to see. Tabby stood wearing her hood. Thank goodness you're here for me. Broom 7 and Tabby made a pair. 3 brooms flew along through the air. The moon was high in the sky, so the brooms flew back to the gate. I hear a wolf howling, Tabby shivered, and also wild Miss Tate. As 8 swooped in, Miss Tate gave a grin and brushed the dirt off her knees. Broom 8, said Miss Tate, we mustn't wait. To the fire there, if you please. Broom 8 and Miss Tate made a pair. 2 brooms flew along through the air. Eve's over by the fire, Tate told the crew with a grunt. She's been up to something while the brooms were on their hunt. Tate led them to the smell of stew, which Eve was standing over. You're right on time. It's time to dine, said Eve. Broom 9, come closer. Broom 9 and Eve made a pair. 1 broom flew along through the air. Suddenly, they spied Witch Wind stuck up in the great clock tower. The clock struck 12 and all called out, Hurrah! It's witching hour! Come get me, 10, squawked Giddy again, and don't forget these kitties. The time is here to spook my dear. Let's fly away, my biddies. All 10 brooms had found their pairs. Now all flew swiftly through the air. Together just in time, witches in their brooms, for a flying Halloween show underneath the moon. The end. So our first activity for our lesson we're going to be doing is picture the character. So everybody will get a 1-page picture book. It just has 4 pages, but it's all printed out on 1 page. You just fold it and it makes a book. And they will also be getting this character sheet. And I would start this by explaining that they're going to read the book. Then they are going to put the character name where it says character. And they are going to draw a picture of their character. So this is going to be the picture and this is going to be the picture frame. On the picture frame, they are going to write characteristics of their character. An example would be Clifford the Big Red Dog. You would write Clifford on the line right here. Draw a picture of Clifford. And then some of the characteristics you could write on the frame about Clifford are he's big, he's red, he's a dog, he's a pet, he likes to eat, he likes to drink water, he likes to play. Those would all be characteristics of him. So the book that they're going to be using is I Am Sam. And this is about a bear whose name is Sam. I'll read it to you real quick. It says, I am Sam. See me, I am Sam. See me, I am Dad, said Sam. See me, I'm Sam. See me, I'm sad, says Sam. So they would write Sam's name and draw a picture of Sam, and they would write characteristics like he's a bear, he likes to play baseball, he's a dad, he's a cook, he's sad. There's a lot of different characteristics that they could write on the frame. So that's to introduce the literary element character. Next activity is based on a retail wheel, and it looks like this. This would be a paired activity. So 2 people would get one wheel. It's 2 separate sheets of paper, and then you would put a pin right here to connect them so it could spin like this. And you would start with question 1. So the teacher would explain the rules. They are going to have a story, and their story for this is called Max the Dog. And I would just give each pair a copy of the story, or you could put a copy of it on my smartboard. So the first person would take the first question, and they would try to answer it. If they couldn't answer it, the next person in the pair could try to answer it. And then at the end, after the whole class is done, the teacher would read the question, have students share their answers, and tell them the correct answer. And they would be writing their answers down to each question. And then they would take turns with who would go first for each question. There are 6 questions here. So the questions are, who are the main characters? Where and when does the story take place? What happens in the beginning of the story? What is the problem? How is the problem solved? And how does the story end? So they would have 6 questions to answer using this wheel about their story, Max the Dog. And the story goes, Jen has a brown dog. Her dog's name is Max. Max likes to play with the ball. Jen throws the ball. Max brings it back. Max lies on the bed. This makes Jen's mom mad. She wants Max to lie on the floor. One day Max got lost. Jen looked all over for him. She walked up to the street and down the street. She yelled, "Come home, Max." She found Max. He was in the park. He was happy to see Jen. So this story has all 6 of those questions, and if they read it and they pay attention to it, they should be able to answer the questions with ease. Closure, I would have the retail wheel presented at the front of the class underneath an Elmo to project it onto the smartboard, and I would be able to physically move it around for each question. And we would actually answer the questions based on the book that we read earlier on 10 Flying Brooms. So they would answer all 6 questions as a class orally just to close up the lesson. And of course, the questions would be, who were the main characters? Well, the main characters were the witches. When and where does the story take place? It takes place during Halloween. What happens in the beginning of the story? There are 10 brooms flying around, and they're trying to find their owners. The problem is that they are trying to find their owners, and the witches are trying to find their brooms. The problem is solved by them going on a hunt to find the brooms, and the brooms find their owners. And the story ends with each witch having their broom back. For homework, the learner will complete the reading comprehension worksheet on characters and characteristics. So it looks like this, and it's a story about going fishing. It's a really, really short story. It is only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sentences. So they shouldn't have an issue reading it. And then there's 3 questions for them to ask on the characters. So this hits the character element of a story. Early finishers, the learners will complete the worksheet on reading a Halloween story and answering comprehensive questions. After they finish the worksheet, they may draw what they want to dress up for Halloween on the back of the sheet. So here is the Halloween sheet. Again, this is another short story, and it asks a question about what the character will dress up as, and it has a blank for them to fill in the blank, write it in, and then who is making her dress, and another blank to fill in their answer. So they would have to go back to the story and find those details to fill in their blank, and then they could turn it around and draw what they want to be for Halloween, since we're following a Halloween theme with this lesson plan. Special needs. The students with a reading disability will have the stories and questions read aloud to them by the paraprofessional or teacher and receive assistance in identifying literary elements. Since we really are hitting reading hard, they might have issues reading. They might not be able to pronounce these words, or they might get them mixed up if they're dyslexic. So it's really important for them to have help reading so that they can understand the story and understand the lesson of the story and the details. The student who is an English language learner will work one-on-one with the teacher or paraprofessional to ensure that the learners know the words they are reading and their definitions in order to grasp the concept of the story and understand literary elements. If they don't know what they're reading, then they're not going to know the elements of the story. So it's important for them to ask questions and to know what the character of the story is, what the setting is. Mediation. When free time is available, students who need extra practice will work with the paraprofessional using the read-tell wheel and answer questions on previously read classroom stories or the story of the week. I would assume that we'd be reading a story each week as a class, so they could use the read-tell wheel and answer all 6 questions on the story that they're currently reading in class. Enrichment. The learner will complete a worksheet that requires them to determine sequence of events within the story and infer characteristics of the main character. This is a little harder because they are having to answer questions on sequence of events that happen in a story. It's one thing to track back and answer questions that happen, but to remember them in a sequence is a little harder, so this will challenge them a little bit. And this is the pumpkin patch. I'm still following my Halloween theme, and it's a short story, but it asks what happened first, it asks details about the pumpkin, and it asks details about Zach's character. So they have 3 questions to ask, and they really have to read the story very well to understand. I don't have any reflective comments. I hope you enjoy this lesson, and I will see you next week.